they don't have any paper goods.
Got it.
So they keep it in the bag. So what I found out is if I go to certain stores, just ask them, and 9 times out of 10, they'll have other stuff in the bag.
Wow. What I'd say a few months ago, you could do it same day. Like I was very much same day with it. The longest I've waited was about 4 or 5 days out.
Well, who was that through? Was that through Amazon?
No, this is through Instacart. I mean, my Amazon story is worse. Instacart's been my saving grace since Amazon Fresh went pretty much AWOL. And even with Amazon Fresh, shoppers are having to do something similar where you load up your cart as much as you can, and then you go in and you just look and see if there's any deliveries for the day. And you don't really have time to go in and make sure that your cart is still stocked. You just got to go for it and hope that you get most of the stuff that you want. With Instacart, it just kind of sits there until, you actually put out that order. But the probability that they have the stuff you're looking for is because it's, it's real time.
Yeah, it's real time, but that has to do with the time of day with respect to the pandemic. Yeah. That also has to do with the time of day in which you submit that order.
Yeah.
And that order is pulled by somebody. So if it's a situation where you do it in the morning, the likelihood of you getting all your items are greater. If it's a situation where you do it in the afternoon or it gets pulled in the afternoon to be completed, fulfilled, the likelihood with respect to the availability of things, there's a shortage on meat now and a limit on paper goods and stuff like that. And then people, like a month ago, were going crazy. The stores were barren.
Yeah.
So you weren't getting barely 30% of your order fulfilled.
Are you seeing paper goods and cleaning supplies stocked regularly?
Here's the thing. No. I'll say no.
Because I'm like, what's up with that? Like, I think we all have plenty of toilet paper.
Shady.
Like, will I ever see another can of Lysol? And I was like, it's probably when I go to the grocery store. So, like, if you're in these streets, are these aisles still empty?
Yes.
Why?
All the paper good aisles in your local grocery stores, as well as, Costco's and all that stuff. What they're doing is, in my personal opinion, is they're rationing. I'm going to give everybody a tip.
Yes, they have to be.
Everybody a tip. So here's the deal. This is a tip for Instacart people as well as just patrons of stores in general.
Okay.
If you ask them after you've gone down the aisle, 9 times out of 10, the aisle's going to be empty.
Yeah.
If you ask them, what do you have as far as paper goods, they'll turn around and ask you, well, what would you like? And you're like, wait a minute now. I just went down the aisle. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
It's not that. What they do is they keep it in the back. And then if you ask for it, because if they were to just put everything out in the morning, it'll be gone because people will lose their mind. Even with a two-person limit, one of the biggest things is that we won't have meat, we won't have water, we won't be able to wipe our ass. So if that's the case, then they'll grab whatever they can. So 2/3 of the rest of the people for the day, they don't have any paper goods.
Got it.
So they keep it in the bag. So what I found out is if I go to certain stores, just ask them. And 9 times out of 10, they'll have other stuff in the bag.
Wow, 9 times out of 10? I mean, I've definitely done the whole, like, when are you going to get the toilet paper? And it's usually a situation where I don't know or come early in the morning.
They lying.
Really?
Because I did a little test of my own from Pavilions to Rouse. Costco tends to stay on deck before 4 o'clock.
Okay.
With respect to paper goods. If you do it early morning, yes, 9 times out of 10, they'll put it out. But as the day progresses, then they'll put out a little bit more, and then a little bit more. So it's not a situation where the older people who get there in the morning and the people who are just early bird catches a worm, they're the only persons they ever take advantage of getting toilet paper or paper towels. So they'll pace themselves when putting it out. So you just have to, certain stores do things differently when it comes to how they put out things. Like I know, for instance, as I get a little bit more detailed, Super King and those types of places, it's not a lot. the Johns of the world. They don't have a lot of stuff.
So the off-brand grocery stores do not have as many
But we
deliveries.
won't call them off-brand.
I'll call it
Oh, you
off-brand.
a cold piece of work, girl. You bullshit. She said off-brand.
What the hell is a John's anyway?
A John's is a
When
very
I moved to the
culturally-
valley, I was like, no, this is not gonna make sense to most people. So we have a Vons, we have Ralph's, and those are like the main stores.
Yeah.
And then they have like a Safeway and Albertsons, which is like, these are like the major chains. And then, so I was like, Vons, okay, that's interesting. I moved to the valley as a John's, and I was like, no, they didn't. Is John's and Super King and all those, are they on Instacart too?
Yes.
They are. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay.
You can get stuff from Super King or from John's. They tend to not carry everything.
Okay.
But what they do tend to carry is very culturally targeted items. Like, I know John's in certain areas is a high population of Russian and Armenian people.
Yes, yes.
So you'll see a lot of products catered towards that. And the Food for Less, which is a major chain, but it just depends upon your neighborhood.
Got it.
Or to be very funny, if you're south of Wilshire, it's just y'all get what y'all get, but it can be anything.
Okay, 2 questions. First, it'd be when you're shopping for your groceries, what do you do? And then separately, if you had to rely on an online delivery situation, walk us through that briefly.
I do start to plot about 2 to 3 days out.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, because I know better. Like, if you know better, there's no way you should play yourself in thinking that you can get things right on the spot, or if you can get things randomly just because you decide to go out to the store. Okay. It's not like that anymore.
It's not like
and
that
it won't be like that for a while. So I do 2 to 3 days in advance, and I try to prioritize. Me right now, I'm not eating a whole lot of meat, so that's a good thing for me because there's a ration on meat, if you would, or a limit on meat.
Right.
Because the pandemic has affected a couple of meat plants as well, so they've shut those down. And I'll try to grab the items that make more sense. A lot of produce. I'll go to stores that I wouldn't necessarily usually go to, like Sprouts or Whole Foods or Gelson's. I would go to those places for specialty items, but now that I've shopped there on a consistent basis, and the perception that I've had for a long time from being in different circles is that, their prices are sky high.
How do you feel about that now?
That's not necessarily true.
Okay.
I'll be up in there. I'll be up in there.
Right.
I often relate that scene to Bad Boys 2 or whatever, when they like, you see another person, and they like, about
we are representing up in there, definitely.
Definitely representing up in there heavy.
Right.
So my horizons are a little bit broad when it comes to that. And I'll plot my shopping out amongst several stores as opposed to just relying on one.
Okay.
And that's out. And as far as using the services are concerned, the funny thing is I haven't used it yet.
You haven't shopped online for groceries?
No, I've shopped online, but I haven't shopped.
Groceries.
Yeah. I have not shopped online for groceries. And I don't know if this is wrong for me to say, but I'm sitting back and
tell me the truth. I want to hear it.
No, your fan base is like heavy, so I don't want this to get back. But
to who? They don't know you.
But here's the deal. So Instacart people know this. You guys know this. Is that we'll get a receipt, and that receipt can be upwards of the 300, it can be whatever amount.
Right.
But when we're looking, they literally ask you, please do not include the receipt with your delivery.
And I've seen the receipt, yes.
Yeah, you probably saw the receipt. And you're like, these mofos done hit me for a cool blah, 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 blah.
The prices are inflated.
Yeah, they're inflated. So for me, I say to myself, and I'll eventually do it, this summer, we'll probably throw a couple of functions and I'll use them. But I'll say to myself, I could do that on my own.
Right.
I know what it's like to stand in line. I know how to stand in line if I need to. I know how to do the whole social distancing thing, 6 feet apart, I know that the older people are going to be allowed in for the first hour in the morning. So I know to go after that, which is after the 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock hour. So I know how to work it. So for me, it's not one of those situations where I'll be in the grocery store just kind of lollygagging. I just move really, really quick now. So I can get in and get out. So to answer your question, I wouldn't necessarily use Instacart right away. Not because I'm nudie, for lack of a better term, more because I know how to get in, get out, unless I'm like booed up and, doing that whole situation where I'm on the cart and I'm just pushing the cart, a situation that you're having a moment. So I don't necessarily have a boo right now. So what I'm doing is, if I'm in the grocery store, I'm getting in.
Was that like an advertisement? Is that what just happened right now?
How many followers you got now, But more so,
ladies, if you want to get to know Jason, you can use your information.
I do well with shopping. I go to the store and read magazines.
A man that enjoys grocery shopping.
Yeah, I enjoy grocery shopping. Produce section is my thing. To do that, I just know how to do it now.
Okay.
So for me, I don't mind it because I know I can get in, get out. I don't get distracted. I get what I want, and I'm out of there. And plus, there are people in there who don't follow the 6-foot rule. There are people in there.
Absolutely.
The aisles at certain grocery stores are not wide enough for 3 people to be in it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got to literally pick and choose your battles. And I don't necessarily want to be in there staring at somebody, waiting for them to move or to get them to get my energy. Like, you have to abide by the 6-foot rule. I don't want to sit there while you grab that.
I've had those moments. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, come on, man. How long you gonna take?
Or standing like hella close to you while you're in line. I'm just like,
that's the problem. I've told people to back up. I've told people to back up, and people have told me to back up. Like, I literally walked into Sprouts one day, and I'm asking the manager a question, and the lady's like, "You guys are too close. Can you ask him over there?" And I'm like, and I caught myself because I had a moment.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say what type, but that moment was brewing, and I said, you know what, you're right. Let's go have this conversation. And the manager had more of an attitude about it than I did, but that was right before they started to put the plexiglass up and all of that other stuff.
Right.
And it was really a thing people were freaked out. Now they're out, no gloves. They're not cross-contaminating because they figured out that wasn't the move, and they just have their mask on and they're shopping.
Whew. This is a whole lot.
It's life. It's a new way of life. This is the new normal. And it's for something as traditional as grocery shopping, we have to adjust. Yeah, it's kind of like we'll take your breath away.
It's kind of turned into a whole other thing. And so I think about elders and how people who don't have access to the internet and how they're affected by really all of this stuff. But like you said, something as simple as grocery shopping has become an actual ordeal for some people, especially when you have the mindset of, I go to the store, I come home with all the things that I need. And it can be very daunting to go to the grocery store time and time again and not return with all the stuff that you need.
Yeah.
For about a month there, I was using bots, if you will, to find out like paper goods and stuff like that, and decent disinfectant products. And I was posting it on my Facebook and sending things to people and buying stuff for family. Yeah, it was like, but it became an obsession. So I was like, let me stop because it's also feeding my anxiety of like, okay, who needs this? Who needs this? And do I need this? And so I was like, let me just stop. People know that I can help them. And if they need help, they'll come to me, which is, it wasn't a service I was offering. It was just a way I was trying to help people. I do feel like if you do focus on some of the negative parts of this, then it can kind of turn to something else.
Yeah, no, to inform some of your viewers who may not know, you always tend to, you specifically, lead with love. So I wouldn't be surprised that you've done that. But don't be shy to say it's not a service. You're being a service to others. And if I knew where all the toilet paper was at, I'm for sure going to tell my people, hey, y'all come get this Charmin. Come get this Angel Soft.
Jason, I got
ain't no Angel Soft. Where is all the damn Angel Soft at?
I know. I'm like, you can come get the Scots if you want it, but hold
Ain't
on
nobody
tight.
gonna get no damn Scott. Ain't
the real good stuff.
Ain't nobody gonna wipe themselves with no damn notebook paper from Scotch. Nobody doing that. They want that Angel Soft. They want that
like we're not that bad.
That quilted yet. Northern. Who gonna get that quilted Northern?
Oh my gosh! I have become such a toilet paper connoisseur. I've never cared. It's just like I'm not buying the Scotch though, but I have come to experience the finer things in life when it comes to paper goods.
Yeah, you kind of like stumble up on the quality Egyptian cotton toilet paper.
I didn't know it existed. I was like, I said, I'm never going back.
Yeah, you've been missing out. You're over here chafing. You don't got to. You can be fine with it.
Oh my God.
Something about the way you talk now.